Welcome to Channel's Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, from our studios here in London. Over the next half hour, we'll be looking beyond the business headlines by giving you in-depth perspective on the stories that are affecting all of us. Coming up on today's show. Limiting the global economic fallout of COVID-19 is the top priority for central banks across the world. According to the public response, some administrations appear to be doing better than others. We'll take a closer look at the measures being taken in Italy, the United States and Britain. Well, clearly there's a lot to get through, but before those international contributions, I'm being joined here in the studio by our business correspondent, Simon Pusey, for more updates. Simon, it's an ever-evolving story. Where are we in the UK with this? Yeah, so the UK, the announcement came a couple of days ago, obviously, that the Chancellor and the Prime Minister announced this huge package, 330 billion pounds in a series of loans, really, for companies.
This will have a significant impact on our economy. That's what I said last week. I stand by that. But I also stand by what else I said is, this will be temporary. Right, we will get through this and we will get through it together, and the steps that we're taking mean that we will emerge together on the other side, able to rebound back to confidence and economic activity. And that's why all the interventions that we're looking at are designed to provide that bridge through this, what will be a very difficult and challenging period, but get us through this period, and so that we can be there on the other side to emerge stronger thereafter. But yes, it will be significant, but that's why we're doing everything we're doing. We're doing whatever it takes to get through it, and things will be better in time.
But since then, there's been a bit of criticism in terms of the kind of things that they could be doing, that they should be doing. So a lot of people are saying the size of that announcement was really impressive, but it's actually the speed that companies need. They need this cash flow quickly because a lot of companies, if you're thinking in the hospitality industry especially, they're noticing that their cash flow has completely disappeared. Margins or things, sales gone down by 60, 70, 80% in some cases. Also some criticism coming in terms of he talked about mortgages and people that were buying houses. He obviously wants to keep the house buying, the house building sector afloat. But a lot of criticism about renters, about a quarter of the UK rent, and there was no announcements on renters. So he did say, in fairness, that he would in the coming days clarify and add what he was talking to and build on the kind of measures that he was talking about. But those are the kind of criticisms that are coming in. It's obviously like a really big package, but people are saying there's a couple of holes missing for various sectors of society. And then if we look to the US, they're talking about helicopter money, or this kind of phrase, helicopter money, which is basically the US giving paychecks to people, blanket paychecks, $1,000, $2,000 just to individuals. The idea there is that the US don't really have that safety net of a social care system or a healthcare system where it's free at the point of use, so that everyone is going to have some money to be able to potentially pay for their hospital fees if they catch this virus. That's being looked at the moment, and that could be something like $1 trillion. The US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin saying he supports sending money directly to Americans.
I know there's been some rumors of the number. It is a big number. This is a very unique situation in this economy. We've put a proposal on the table that would inject $1 trillion into the economy. That is on top of the $300 billion from the IRS deferrals. Now, let me just say, this is a combination of loans. This is a combination of direct checks to individuals. This is a combination of creating liquidity for small businesses. We want to make sure that those business owners have money to pay their employees. We're not going to put money in those business owners just for the sake of them keeping it, but we're going to help them with liquidity to meet their payroll. This is the time that hardworking Americans are impacted by government decisions. That's when the government has to step up to put money into the economy.
He says we're looking at sending checks to Americans immediately, and that follows obviously widespread school and shop closures. But details of the sizes of those checks and who would qualify them are still under discussion. So we'll have to bring you the latest when we get that.
What about companies? I know a lot of them are in the headlines at the moment. Any of them making more noise than others?
Yeah, well, obviously small companies in the hospitality sector, especially shops, really struggling. There are some like supermarkets which are obviously booming and they're sort of selling out because people are stockpiling. I think two companies to look at the moment in the news, Amazon, one of these companies that are doing really well as a result of this, obviously people ordering online. They've drafted in extra work, or they want more staff to work longer. So workers at Amazon's UK warehouses are being told to work overtime to tackle that huge...
Paid overtime?
Yeah, paid overtime, but it's still overtime that in their contracts they have to do. So there's, if they want to go home and look after loved ones, it's in their contracts that they have to fulfill these extra hours. And that's despite government calls to restrict social contact. So there's that side of it as well. The GMB union says that workers across at least 4 different sites were informed that they had to work compulsory overtime from Monday. And that's led to some people saying that the company is putting profit before safety. Amazon, though, say that they're working to ensure that they can continue to deliver to customers. Some of the sought-after items may not surprise you, things like bleach, hand wash, nappies, large boxes of rice and powdered milk, the kind of things that we're noticing up and down the country are missing from supermarket stores.
Volkswagen.
Yeah, then we've got the world's biggest car company, Volkswagen. They've responded to this crisis saying they're going to suspend European production this week. And so some of the places that are on that list are Germany, Slovakia, Spain, Portugal. They're all winding down. Initially, this would be for 2 weeks. And the car company says it's responding to the virus and things like disruptions to their supply chains, which means that there's been a big fall in demand as well. The chief operations officer for Volkswagen says that he is convinced that this will also be in the interests of our employees, who are becoming increasingly concerned about the spread of corona. So you've got 2 different sort of systems, if you like, there. The Amazon, who are ramping up production because obviously they're getting a lot of demand, but other companies obviously looking at their operations and thinking, is it worth it profitably, and is it worth it in an operations sense to get all these people in who could be contracting and spreading the virus?
Well, Simon Pusey, thank you for those updates. Truly unprecedented times. Thank you.